Hello everyone, welcome to a new chess video. Today I'm going to teach you an opening where just by memorizing 3 simple moves, you'll be able to win most of your games. It sounds surreal, but now you're going to see that it's totally possible. By the way, what's with this beautiful background, chess teacher? And this board? What's going on here? Why is everything so nice today? Because since the trap and the moves are so beautiful, we had to have a special background today. First of all, let me give you some context. You all know the fried liver attack, right? E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, bishop C4, Italian opening, and in the two knights defense, we perform the fried liver attack. Well, it's a fun attack, an attack that can give good results, yes, but on this channel, I've taught you how to punish it in a pretty drastic way. So we're not going to see the fried liver attack, but now you'll understand why. I'm showing you, the fried liver attack. We're going to move from the king side to the queen side, and we're going to start with the d4 pawn. By the way, let's do something. Let's try to reach 500 likes on this great video, since you only have to sit at home on your couch to watch the finished video, and I have to work hard on all of this for all of you. So I'll work hard, and you give me a big thumbs up. And that way, you make me want to keep recording daily videos. Just that. Let's continue. We play d4, the queen's pawn. And after the double queen's pawn, we're simply going to play as if it were an Italian, but on the other side. You see it, right? We would have played knight f3, so we can play knight c3. It's also possible to play it in the reverse order. You'll see it in a moment. For example, knight f6. And now here we play the bishop. When I say reverse order, it's that you could have played the bishop first if you wanted and then the knight. It doesn't matter. What's my point with all this? Notice that we're in an Italian opening, but on the other side, right? So here, a very natural move could be knight c6, which would practically be losing the game already. Why? Because now the fried liver attack on the queen's side is much, much more effective. Look at this move here. The knight and the bishop are allies, and they work together to come and attack the c7 point. A very weak point. Why? Because we're now threatening this knight jump, knight takes c7, check. And not only that, but we'd take the rook. Notice that this point is simply defended by the queen, and she couldn't capture since we have this bishop here. That's why this move is too strong. They can't kick out our knight because we directly capture here. If I tell you, what's the only move that can prevent us from entering here with these two pieces? I'm sure you're all thinking of the same one. The move that can prevent this is the move e5. And, well, how should we react to this right here? How should we react if they play e5 against us? Very simple. The only thing we have to do is capture this pawn. Correct? We're threatening this knight, and we're up a pawn. Practically mandatory would be to take this pawn right here. But if they take this pawn here, they're losing the knight. Therefore, it would be a terrible move. So they must move this knight, right? They're down a pawn. They've given it away. Look closely, okay? There's no other move here to defend. This double attack here other than e5. And by taking here, they've given away the pawn because they can't recapture as they lose a piece. So they must move this knight away. Where? It doesn't matter to us all. Wherever they move it, we're going to win the game. For example, let's assume they move it to this square here. Then here comes the star move, which is none other than queen takes pawn. Queen takes pawn, chess teacher? Are you going crazy? If they can capture this queen, you're giving the queen away. Yes, I've gone crazy, but this works. Because no matter how much they take our queen, we have this triple attack with the knight. We attack the king, we attack the rook, and we attack the queen, most importantly. And we're gonna do the count in a moment. They must move the king. We capture the queen, and notice one thing. We've both captured the queen, right? Look, I'll leave it right here. Yeah, but now we have 3 extra pawns. Incredible. And that's it, chess teacher. Is this all? Well, if you think this is all, you don't know me very well at all. We've seen that when playing d4, they play d5 against us. But the most used move against d4 is knight f6, as it's the most flexible move. In fact, it's the move I recommend against d4. Although d5 isn't far behind. But careful, this isn't the important part. Let's get to the important part. We play knight c3, and with this, what do we threaten? Well, we threaten to take the whole center with these two very powerful pawns. That's why they should play d5 now. If they don't, well, we take the whole center. The correct move is d5, and we're going to play, of course, this move here. Why do we win in 3 moves with this opening? Because we simply have to memorize these 3 moves: the pawn, the knight, and the bishop. Everything else is about understanding. You don't have to memorize any moves other than these 3. And now you're going to be amazed at how this continues, because we've seen that if they play the knight here, everything was very easy. This attack was coming along smoothly. And in fact, they're going to play it against you many times, believe me. But well, what happens if they play in a much better way? The black pieces, if they play, for example, e6, a super traditional setup. So we're simply going to play e3. Leave in space for our bishop. We can develop the knight, a very, very normal setup. The only thing that changes from the London is that this pawn would be here, and this knight would be here. From the normal London, I mean, this is the Jabava London, if I remember correctly, with the knight on c3. Now, the same thing, if they come here, they're falling into the same trap. That's why, well, we lose this tempo, so to speak, while gaining development. And on top of that, we tell them again, if you bring out the knight, I'll crush you. So here, it's very likely that instead of bringing out the knight, they'll keep playing correctly, playing c5. Notice one thing. This is the most traditional setup for playing against the queen's pawn, right? c5. Why? Because if we capture, now we recapture with the bishop. But here, what are we simply going to do? We're going to jump in with the knight. And they're in trouble again. Look at that. Ugh. Just 2 pieces, but what a pair of pieces. They are absolutely impressive. It's like they're best friends, right? They're helping each other out a lot. As Morphy used to say, right? Help your pieces and they will help you. We've helped our pieces by placing them correctly, and they'll be helping us by winning the game. The only way to defend this point, I'm sure you're thinking of it. Obviously, it can't be the bishop because it's attacked by 2 pieces and only defended by 1. The only move is knight to a6. And let's look at something. This knight is very well placed, while the opponent's is very poorly placed. Where, or rather, with which piece can they kick out this bishop? Well, notice that because of this knight, they can't kick it out, so it's very well placed. And the opponent's knight, where can it go? Well, notice it's running out of squares to go to, because it can't come through here, as we'd simply capture with the help of our other bishop and win the rook on top of that. And so, it doesn't seem like it can go this way either. Why? Because we'd simply come here and it can't move, and at some point we could kick it out. So this knight can't go absolutely anywhere. So here, how should we continue? Because of course, notice one thing, we're not attacking anything. Yes, we're very well placed, but we're no longer attacking anything thanks to their knight. Well, we're simply going to play c3. And now we really are cutting off this knight completely. It can't come here and it can't come here. In this way, we are controlling all the squares with the bishop and the knight, and we're greatly restricting our opponent's position. Notice that now our opponent has few things to do, but the only logical one is to try to kick this knight out of here, and the only piece that can do it is bishop to d7. This bishop wants to trade itself for this knight in a very logical way, because this knight is a headache for them. I guess you all understand, but we have no problem here letting them capture us. We're going to play a 4 to reinforce this point, and if they capture this knight, we're not worried at all, because when they capture us, we'll simply come in very strong with the bishop. Look at what a powerful check to the enemy king. Now, the black pieces don't have much to protect themselves with. Notice that moving the king would be a disaster, placing the queen even more so. The only move is to bring the knight, and they're already falling even further behind. This knight is pinned, this knight can't go anywhere. Now, it can go here, but not here. But we're going to see what happens when it comes over here. Don't worry, because notice that when this knight moves back, we now have an ideal plan. What we're going to do is bring this knight out from here. Notice that you shouldn't learn this by heart. Well, if you want, you can, but it's not necessary. We're simply applying pressure. What's the idea of bringing the knight here? To jump here and apply a totally spectacular pressure to the knight that's pinned by our bishop. So here, the most logical move for the black pieces, right? Which is this one, I'm sure you're thinking of it too. Forgive me if I'm going too fast, okay? I don't want the video to go on forever. It's better if you watch it as many times as needed, all right? And since it's free, YouTube, you can save it and watch it as many times as you need, okay? Notice one thing, the most logical move, right? Come in here with the knight, now that it can. Now that it can, and on top of that, it attacks this bishop here. But this is a mistake, because all we have to do is eliminate this knight with the bishop. It's true, it's a normal and ordinary exchange of pieces, but now what does this exchange allow us? That this bishop isn't under attack, and so now we have a super strong attack for ourselves. We jump with the knight, and notice that here the black pieces can't defend against this tremendous attack. It's a very simple attack. All we've done, notice one thing, is place our knight and our bishop from the start. Nothing more than our bishop and our knight that jump through here. They've tried to blow everything up. We've simply entered with more pieces, with the other bishop and the other knight. And now this pen is just too strong. What are we threatening now? Well, bishop takes check, and they couldn't capture with the queen because we'd recapture it. Whatever they do here, they're gonna lose material. Notice how interesting. Very well, and wait, because the best is yet to come. For example, they play knight f6, we threaten to play e4. You know, the order doesn't matter. They play d5 to avoid this e4, and we enter with the bishop. These three moves that bring us so much joy. And many of you will be thinking, let's see, chess teacher, if all we're threatening here, and your whole attack is based on placing the knight here, explain to me what happens. If they simply play this against me and the whole attack is already over, my whole plan has already gone down the drain. How can I continue? Take it easy, okay? Relax, I'm gonna show you how to play just as well if they don't let you make this attack. It's very simple, very, very simple. We play e3, all right? Very simple. You see it, right? We simply continue with the previous ideas, e3. And now what? Well, they can play e6, it doesn't matter to us because we're gonna continue with our development. Knight f3. It's very likely they'll move this bishop. Notice one thing, bishop d6 worries us. It wouldn't worry us at all. Why? Because they're trying to exchange these bishops, which doesn't bother us. Because by capturing them, we'd create two super strong pawns. It's true this one would be doubled, but we wouldn't care. Because look what a great square we'd have here the moment they want to kick it out with a knight. Knight takes, pawn takes, and this would already be totally impressive for us. That's why I'm telling you that. It doesn't bother us at all if they come with the bishop through here. If they come this way, we'd simply move the bishop. We'd keep developing. If they trade, better for us. If not, we castle and all that. We're not worried. If they played bishop e7, the truth is, it's a waste of time. Why? Because black here, to free themselves, must always, always, always play c5. If you don't know, I'll explain it to you. In a double queen's pawn, the move that unbalances the center is always c5, okay? If they don't play c5, black is going to be at a disadvantage. Perfect. So if they're going to play c5, this bishop was a waste of time, because in the trades, look, it didn't matter if they took from here or from here. That's why if they play bishop e7 against you, it's a waste of time. And if they play c5 directly, which seems like the most normal thing in the world, how should we act? Here, now. This move is much more interesting because now we can't play bishop d3 right away since they advance on us, and this bishop would have to move off the diagonal we want it on, and then we'd be losing super valuable time. Besides, we'd be letting the opponent expand naturally. If you've seen any video on the Kali system, you know that whenever they play c5 against us, we must play c3 to leave this space for the king. Don't worry, if you haven't seen it, it doesn't matter at all. The only thing you have to worry about is if they play c5, you must capture here first. Notice they have to recapture with the bishop. If they were on e7, they would have lost a tempo. And now, by removing this pawn, we play bishop d3 and get the position we wanted. A position where we have 4 pieces developed, while the opponent only has 2. And when we place the bishop here, they can keep developing, it's true. We castle. Notice we have a 2-tempo advantage because we're castled and black isn't. And on top of that, they have this undeveloped bishop, they can castle, and now the star move we should always play when we can't carry out this attack over here, the free move e4. This move is essential, okay? Why? Because we're freeing ourselves from the position that was very closed with the pawn on e3. And what are we threatening? The key threat is to carry out this attack here, and notice that this would be practically lethal, because now if they move the knight, bishop takes pawn would come. King takes, the knight would jump in, the queen would come, and it would be checkmate, okay? That's why this threat is now way too strong. And here they have several options to take or even push. Pushing seems like a very, very interesting option because now the knight is really bothering us. If we retreat it, we're left in a very passive position, okay? That's why I'm proposing the move e5 here. You attack me, I attack you, right? Sorry if I'm going too fast, okay? Really, I want you to understand it well, but I don't want to waste your time. So, what's happening here? Because you're attacking me and I'm attacking you. It seems like if you haven't studied this, it's very complicated. Well, don't worry because you're winning here, okay? Notice one thing. If they capture this knight, what should you do? Just capture theirs and that's it. And now look at this. If they capture here, we capture here. We've lost a flank pawn that doesn't matter to us at all. They've lost the most important pawn in their position, the one directly protecting the king. And notice this, pawn takes, pawn takes. If they capture here, we capture here with check. Then, simply after the exchanges, it would be queen takes and queen takes. We'd have the queen on this very strong diagonal, and we'd be equal in terms of material, but not equal in terms of position, because we'd be 1,000 times better. They wouldn't have this pawn, we wouldn't have this one, look at that trade, and we'd have the queen here directly attacking the open king. So why am I explaining this to you? Because now, if they capture here, they'd be losing. But what if they first capture with the queen over here? Which I'm absolutely sure most of you have thought of. Well, they can already resign here. Indeed, they can resign after this move. Bishop g5. The queen is completely trapped. Look, this bishop protected by the knight means the queen can't move along this diagonal. And this bishop means she can't come this way at any point. Therefore, this queen is totally trapped. They can just resign now. And super important, what if instead of pushing, they do the most logical thing and capture here? Which piece should we capture with? Important, with the knight, okay? No matter how much they exchange all the pieces, it doesn't matter, because look, they can even exchange queens, right? We take with this super important rook and look at one thing. Even though at first glance we're totally equal in material, you see it, right? The advantage is huge, and I'll explain why in a very simple way. White is doing great with their pieces, and black is paralyzed. This bishop is the key, it can't get out. Not through here, because it would be lost to the rook, nor through here because of the pawn. And if they decide to push this pawn, they'd lose the knight. That's why this bishop can't get out. If this bishop can't get out, this rook can't get out. Look at this. They're totally paralyzed. They can't do anything. White's advantage is absolutely massive. What did you think of this kind of London system, Jobava system, winning in 3 moves? I'd really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart if you give it a like. It might not seem like it, but I'm a human being and I have a heart. I love seeing that you enjoy the work I do here every single day. Every day. I hope you love it, that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, because that way YouTube will notify you every time I upload a new video. I hope you loved this video, just like all the others, and I'll see you in the next one, friends. Bye.